Welcome to the Bushido gang. What's up, guys? It's Attack on Samurai, and welcome to my match for the Pokemon Sword and Shield NU League. So, right now on Showdown, there is a tournament going on called the Sword and Shield NU League. So, or NU League cycle. So it's basically just gonna be like a like cycling through different rounds. So this was my round against Sensei Axew. I don't know too much about Sensei Axew, but I have seen his name around. But apparently he's really good at NU. Apparently he's really good at NU. So and I think other lower tiers as well. So it was my first time actually playing this guy. His team for this round, or we basically had a best of 3 for the tournament, or it's a best of 3 for the tournament. So yeah, I was facing a pretty tough opponent. I've seen his name around, but I just didn't know like about his skill. But I pretty much got learned from I learned from this game and the other games as well. So before we actually dive into this, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, join my Discord Bushido gang, and subscribe for some more content on the channel. Also follow me on my Pokemino and check out my Smogon profile. All those links will be down in the descriptions, as well as my other social media links too. So for game 1, Sensei Axew has this really cool squad of Decidueye, Kangaskhan, Sandslash, I'll say Milotic, Miltank, Weezing, and Alolan Persian. So a whole lot of Kanto stuff going on here. So the one mon I was actually kind of fearing was the Decidueye, because currently in the NU metagame, Choice Specs Decidueye is a very, very good mon. It's also a very good set, since Grass and Ghost coverage is fantastic in the metagame right now, as there aren't too many answers to it. One of the very few answers is Toxicroak, and also you could kind of argue Berserker with an AV. It could actually take it on pretty decently, and maybe even Stunfisk Galarian, but that's kind of a stretch. That's kind of a stretch actually. Leaf Sword would do quite a bit to that as well, since it's neutral. But yeah, I had to play pretty aggressive. I had to play pretty smart around that Decidueye. My own Decidueye is actually going to be Choice Banded. So Choice Banded Decidueye is something that hasn't been tested yet, or hasn't been tested too much. But there have been like different variants with Poltergeist. There has been like there has been like lefties, or not, well, yeah, lefties, and also like a Sword Stance set. So it can kind of work both ways. But I wanted to try a Choice Band one, see if it can do the same amount of damage. But yeah, this game is gonna be pretty tough. But let's see what can happen here. So turn 1, I live with my Rotom Fan as he leads with Persian. So I live with Rotom Fan because Rotom Fan is actually a pretty solid answer to a majority of his team, as I can Air Slash this Decidueye even though I don't have it. I could Volt Switch around the Weezing. I could Volt Switch on the Miltank. I could also slash down the Sandslash even though I don't have it, so I can only burn the Sandslash. And I could also burn the Sandaconda, the Kangaskhan, and wear it down. But unfortunately for my Rotom Fan, it is not that fast. It's more like defensively oriented, so I can't really like outspeed a lot of things. So I was expecting to go for either a parting shot or go for a knockoff. I didn't really have much other like counterplay against the Persian. Like, Persian's actually a very good mon against me. There was really not much I could do against it. So I mean, granted, I probably could have led Toxicroak, but he has several answers. He has like 2 answers to Toxicroak, in being Weezing and Sandslash. So it was kind of hard for me to even lead with it, even if I wanted to. So I had to lead with Rotom. He is going to parting shot, so I could burn whatever comes in. So I do burn the Sandslash coming in, which is very good. Unfortunately, though, he can get up rocks, which is not really much I can do about. So I can't do much about that. I can go into the Decidueye as he goes for the knockoff. The knockoff was a very, very good play. I wasn't really sure if he would go for that, but knockoff really was a good like counterplay. Or was good, not counterplay, just a good play overall, because it just knocked off anything I could have went into. I could have went into my Silvally, as my Silvally is a water type, so I could have been able to take the Earthquake, knockoff, or whatever, but I didn't think about that until like later on. And I didn't even think about knockoff. Like, knockoff was a move I kind of forgot this. Well, I mean, I know it gets it. It can definitely use it, but I wasn't like certain if he would have that. But the knockoff sucks a lot, and my Choice Band is gone, so I can't really, like, break through his team like I thought I would. So there goes my choice band. I can at least Leaf Blade, but if he has Sap Sipper on the Miltank, that's gonna suck for me. But unfortunately, he does not have that, so I can definitely Leaf Blade again. But I'm actually gonna go for the Yui. Now I didn't actually realize I was faster than his Miltank. Well, I mean, I didn't realize until the U-turn that I was actually faster than the Miltank. So with me being faster than the Miltank, I could have been able to Leaf Blade again, but I wasn't sure. So that's why I again made the play. I thought maybe he'd go for Rocks or you go for Toxic. So that's why I did the play. I went for Golurk in case you wanted to do something else, like maybe. Well, I mean, Miltank can only go for Toxic on Decidueye anyway, so I think he does go for it here. No, he goes for the Miltank, so he wants to keep this healthy. By that Leaf Blade damage, that told me that his Miltank was probably going to be more of a specially defensive variant, or more like physically defensive. Well, not physically defensive. It didn't take Leaf Blade at all, so it was not physically defensive at all. It was definitely like more inclined to be special defensive. So I can go for the Dynamic Punch. I could also Earthquake, whatever he has. This also is Choice Band as well. Actually, no, this is Life Orb. This is Life Orb with Rocks, so I could pressure him right now. He is going to go for the Toxic, as I actually try to go for the Rocks here. Now, going for the Rocks there was actually a really bad play, but Golurk has a really tough time against his team because there are way too many immunities for me to really feel comfortable in clicking Earthquake, or even clicking Dynamic Punch, or even clicking Poltergeist. Like, he has so many answers I could just come in on all those. I can't Poltergeist at all because he has 3 immunities. Or, I mean, well, he has 2 immunities and 1 resist that could take it very well since it is Fur Coat. Weezy could also take the hit decently well too. But yeah, everything else doesn't take Poltergeist at all. So what I do is I thought maybe he predict the fighting move, and I go for the Poltergeist right here. Now that was a really bad play. Again, he has 3 immunities. I could have just clicked Dynamic Punch and I would have gotten somewhere with either of them, because Dynamic Punch can at least hit the Decidueye too. Even an Earthquake was okay, but because it did hit everything else neutrally, but I just didn't make that play, and I'm gonna pretty much lose my Golurk as I go for the Earthquake now on the Weezing coming in. So actually, no, I Dynamic Punch in case he wanted to stay in, but yeah, he didn't stay in that time. So my Golurk is gonna get worn down my Toxic plus Life Orbs, and I'm forced to switch out here as he goes into the Persian again. Oh wait, now I go for the Poltergeist this time. So now I go Poltergeist as he catches me. So he's just catching me on all the plays I'm trying to make. Like, he's pretty much just mitigating all this damage, as Golurk was a really threatening mon. So he's able to just do that, and now my Golurk is pretty much useless. So I just sack it at this point, or keep it as a sack for later, as he could just knock right here and get rid of my knock on my Toxic Rope. So that kind of sucks because now I lose my Choice Scarf, which could be able to outspeed the Kangaskhan in case he was Jolly, but I did not think about that. So with me losing my knockoff, that's gonna suck quite a bit. But in this position, I really didn't have much to hit the Persian. Also, the Persian is going to reveal to be a Boots variant since it didn't take rock damage. So yeah, the knockoff plus parting shot is gonna put me way behind. And now the Weezing can come in here and go for a T-Spike or burn me. I go for the cross chop. It does 14%, so nothing crazy, but at least it chips it down a little bit. But he's just gonna recover that off anyway. He can go for the Flamethrower. It does a little bit to me, no burn thankfully, but I could Volt Switch here if I want. But he is going to go into the Miltank and take the Volt Switch. So I do go for that. So I Volt Switch on that, get a little bit of chip on that, but not too much. In comes the Croak. So I can go for a Cross Chop again, weaken this even more, as he is going to go right into the Sand Slash, and guess what? I miss. So because I missed there, missing that actually sucks a lot, because I could have kept that Sand Slash low. Granted, it probably was Helmet, so it definitely would have taken the Cross Chop, but I think it probably would have done like a little over 30%, like maybe like 35, maybe 40, especially after the burn too. It might have done like 40. But still, missing that sucks a lot, and because of that, he's going to take advantage of that, and he's going to be able to spin or get up a Spike, which he is going to do right now as I bring my Golurk. So he does get the Spike up. So he has a Spike and Rocks up, which is not looking too great for me. I could Earthquake here. I have to Earthquake here, as he does bring in the Persian. So I do Earthquake. I do weaken the Persian, but now I have to sack my Golurk there. So at least I weaken that. I can go Berserker right now and go for the Fake Out. So, you know, Alolan Persian versus Galarian Persian. Yes. Let's see who wins. Unfortunately, it lives by just by like 4%. So I'm able to bring in my Croak right now, and I have to pretty much, you know, take the parting shot. And you know, this thing's gonna live on like barely 1, and Kangaskhan can come in here right now. So because Persian lived on 1%, pretty much, it's going to be alive, and I pretty much have to sack something. So he goes for the double edge, and there goes my Toxicroak. So now I lost the one mon that could actually beat this and also kind of beat the rest of his team. I have to go into Berserker as I can take the double edge. He goes into the Decidueye as I go for the close combat. So he caught that. And now I have to just, you know, let him go for the Shadow Ball as I go for the U-turn. So U-turn does a lot. In hindsight, I think Iron Head would have been a better play, because it still would have caught everything else, and it would have weakened the Decidueye even more. And I was also, you know, like, Tough Claws boosted, and his Iron Head being stabbed. So that might have brought it down a lot further. Probably, like, it might have killed, maybe. It might have killed, maybe. But I didn't have that much attack investment on it, so I'm not too sure, but it would have done a ton. So now I can bring in my Silvally. I go for the Ice Beam and it doesn't kill. So he goes for the Shadow Ball. It wears me down a lot since he has specs. I go for the Surf and I kill off the Decidueye, because he's like, I don't need it anymore. I can just win with the Kangaskhan. So you can go for the Foul Play. He doesn't kill me, and that was a crit as well. I can Ice Beam that, kill off the Persian. But at this point, Kangaskhan wins because I can't do anything, because it outspeeds my whole team. Like, Rotom's going to get messed up. Decidueye is going to get messed up by Double Edge since it is scrappy. So he goes for the Sucker Punch instead. So it was actually like a mix. So I guess it wasn't, hold up. It did take rock damage. So maybe it was like AV. It could have been AV Kangaskhan. Probably was AV Kangaskhan. That's why it took the hits very well. So I can Double Edge here. I do go for the Wisp, but again, like I said, at this point, I can't do much. So I go for it here, but he goes into Weezing and just sacks it. So he's gonna allow me to. He's gonna sack off the Weezing at this point as I bring in my Persian. But again, I die to hazards, and that's pretty much gonna be the game. So it's a very overall commanding victory for this guy, for Axew. So like I said, if I didn't mess around with the Golurk and just made the plays that I should have made, then I might have gone somewhere with it. Because like I said, Golurk was very aggressive against him, but I was too busy trying to make predictions. Like, in a position where Golurk is actually very strong, I don't think I have to make any predictions. I think I just go with my gut and just click what the right move is. Like, again, in hindsight, Dynamic Punch was the right move to make. It was always the right move to make. Because again, even a confusion on something could put me up. Like, literally, a confusion on something would put me up. So I just had to click the move and I would have been fine. But again, I didn't take that into notion, and because of that, I'm gonna lose this game, and that's gonna be GG for Axew. So yeah, a tough game, honestly, very tough game. Again, not much I could have done against his team. I mean, yeah, again, like I said, it all came down to the predictions. Like, he caught every prediction on my Golurk, and the Toxic sucked a lot. Like, again, if I just punched the Miltank, then I wouldn't have been in this position. I wouldn't have been in this kind of position, and I could have just, you know, wore him down a lot faster. But again, those predictions hurt me, and that is going to be the game. So now let's move on to game 2. So game 2. Also, I'm gonna skip the beat this time. Let's get a different beat. A more let's go with that one actually. All right. So game 2. Hopefully I can skip the ad. I know there's gonna be an ad. No, let's skip that ad real quick. These ads, man. These ads. Actually, that might. Oh, it's never mind. It's the same song. Let's go with that one. But yeah. Okay. So this game right here, game 2. Game 2. I brought a skip that. I brought a team that you guys should probably be familiar with. This is the Jolt Spike team that I built on the ladder. Again, it's got like rocks, Piloswine. It's got spikes with Quillfish, like dual spikes, so spikes and T-spikes. Got the AV, Heatmore, and I got my spinning. I got my 2 hazard removals in Avalugg and Eldegoss. So I felt pretty good about this game. When I picked this team, well, I felt pretty good about picking this team in general, because this team is just such a solid team. Like, this is probably one of my favorite NU teams I've built so far. But looking at the matchup, it was very tough. It was very tough. Because for one, Silvally is a very interesting mon. It could run so many different sets. You can make it an offensive one. You can make it defensive. So it was kind of hard for me to figure out what kind of Silvally he was until like later on in the game. But if he was Silvally Water, then Jolteon could definitely be pretty aggressive. Like my main goal with this team is to wear him down with the spikes and T-spikes, so that way Jolteon could actually like sweep him. Now most variants of Ninjask can outspeed Jolteon, but again, most of them right now don't really run a lot of speed investment. They're more like HP invested with a little bit of defense and speed. They don't run like a lot of speed because they don't really need a lot of speed since Ninjask is the fastest mon in this meta game. So they don't really need to run a lot of speed though. But yeah, like I said, this was a pretty tough game, very tough game. But if I can break through with my Heatmore and break through the Abomasnow and even this, then Jolteon's gonna be able to Thunderbolt through him. That was my main goal. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna try and do. But this guy's good, so it was gonna be tough for me to really break through that. But let's see what happens here. So turn 1, I lead with Avalugg as he leads with the Silvally Water. So with the Silvally Water lead, it can mean two things. It can mean that he's either a mixed variant, it can mean that he's an offensive variant, or it can mean he's a defensive variant. Now personally for me, I like Silvally Water as it being a defensive variant because defensive waters are always going to be good no matter what. So what he's going to do is he's going to go for the Yui as I bring in my Eldegoss. So I thought maybe he'd go for a flamethrower or something, but he does Yui there. So that told me that his Silvally was an offensive variant. So that means he probably had SD, multi-attack, U-turn, and then and then flame charge or something like that. But now the Abomasnow comes near. Abomasnow is a threat and a half. Not even a threat and a half. It's a threat and a whole. This thing right here, this mon could sweep my team. Like Abomasnow is not a mon you want to play around with. My only answer to it is Heatmore, so I can switch into Blizzards. But I was not feeling great to really, predict whatever he could do, because Abomasnow could do multiple things right here. It could Blizzard, it could Leaf Storm, it could go for Earth Power. Like he has so many plays he can make. And again, the way my opponent was playing, like he's gonna play off predictions. So he has to play off predictions. So he's going to predict me to switch out and go into my Piloswine because I have no other switch in for a Blizzard. Again, besides, like this. So he goes for the Leaf Storm and he catches my Avalugg. So again, I had to go either Avalugg or I had to go into Piloswine to catch Blizzard. But regardless, it will still do a lot to me because Specs Abomasnow is very, very strong. Definitely one of the stronger ice types in this metagame in my opinion. Since it could also threaten Decidueye too. Hold up. I'm gonna bring that down a little bit more. Actually, I'm gonna change the beat. I don't really like that one. Let's go with this one actually. Let's go down a little bit more. Let's go with not that. Let's go with that one. All right. Okay, so like I said, Abomasnow is a very threatening mon. Like I don't really have much counterplay to it besides again my Heatmore. So these ads, man, these ads. Jeez. Jesus Christ, these ads. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, like I said, Abomasnow is a very threatening mon. I can't really do much around it, so I have to play around the predictions. But he is gonna get worn down, so I can't go back into my Eldegoss. And I have to keep my Avalugg healthy because it's the only way that can deal with the Ninjask and also deal with the Silvally Water since he is physically offensive on that. So I have to keep that mon healthy. He brings in the Hatcham as I bring in the Piloswine. So he predicted that pretty nicely because Hat is a very defensive mon right now. Or can be ran very defensively. Since it can stop hazards from going up. And it can wear down Piloswine pretty well. Hatcham has a pretty good special attack, stat as well. Since it, I think it brings it down to it can wear down things pretty nicely. So Hatcham is a very annoying mon for me. Since I can't get up rocks on it, since I can't get rocks on it either, since it is magic bounce. So what I can do is go into Eldegoss and scout whatever he goes for. He goes for the Psychic. Psychic does a little bit, but not too much, as my Eldegoss is more specially invested. I go for the Pollen Puff, and it does a lot, actually. 35% is not that bad on that. So that told me that his Hatcham was more... Maybe it wasn't as physically defensive, or maybe it probably still was physically defensive. It was just, more... It didn't have a lot of special defense. So he goes for the Nuzzle. Nuzzle was a good play because it's gonna, weaken me and also get me paralyzed. He brings in the Rotom Fan as I try to aromatherapy, but it didn't happen. He's gonna bring in the Abomasnow as I bring in my Piloswine, so he's gonna catch that. So again, he's making the right plays. My Piloswine can kind of pressure him, but I really didn't feel comfortable with that because Abomasnow could do a lot. Like, it could focus blast me, it could leaf storm me. I was not willing to take a leaf storm at all, so I had to go into Heatmore. As he's gonna go for the Blizzard, and Blizzard does a lot, but my Heatmore is AV, so I can definitely take the Blizzard pretty nicely. He goes into the Valley Water as I go for the Giga Drain. So I went Giga Drain because it did catch this, and I really wanted to keep my Heatmore healthy because it could still take an Earth Power from Abomasnow. Like, with this EV spread, Earth Power from a Specs Abomasnow does, I think, a little less than 40. No, not less than 40. I think it's like, no, it does less than 40. It's like 40. I think it's like 45 ish. It's like 45. I know it's like a mid 40. It's like a mid 40 roll from a Specs Abomasnow. So I knew I could still play around it, but he could still like 3 KO me with Blizzard because of the hail damage. So it's still something I got to play around with, but I had to Giga Drain there to just keep this mon healthy, because it's the only way I could deal with the Abomasnow. So I'm going to switch out here and go into Quillfish, as he's going to go for the Yui. So he does go for the Yui there, making the right play. I'm going to worry down that Soul Valley, which is great. And comes to Hatchrim. So I can't go for a spike yet because this thing's here. I go into Eldegoss as I'm trying to wear this down, but he's going to catch it and go right back to into the Abomasnow. So like I said, he's playing aggressive. He's playing very, very aggressive. Like, he has to, because if he can break my Eldegoss and also my Paloswine, well, I mean, if he can break, like, again, if he can break this defensive core, then he can pretty much win with this. He can win with this, or he could win with the Soul Valley Water. And even the Ninjask. Like, he's trying to open that up for Ninjask, but I'm making sure that I can't let him do that. But I have no other switching for Blizzard, so Paloswine has to take the Blizzard, unfortunately. There's a lot, though. I get the rocks up there. So I'm assuming he was predicting an Earthquake or Superpower, which is why he made the play into Stunfisk. Or maybe he just knew I would go for rocks anyway. But yeah, that Blizzard does suck. Or he was predicting me to go into the Avalugg. Not too sure. No, probably not. I think he could have just Blizzard again if he wanted to, but I think he just wanted to be safe. So, and make sure that he could still get accurate Blizzards off. So he made the right play doing that. But those rocks are going to be very nice because, for one, I get them up before Hatchrim can come in, and two, I could also break down that Ninjask, which is really what I wanted to do. So now what I could do is bring in my Avalugg, and I need to make sure I keep this one healthy. He's going to Yawn. Yawn was a very solid play because that does catch not only me from going for damage on this, but also he can get up rocks here for free. So I had to recover here because I need this Avalugg healthy, and I'm okay with it going to sleep because for one I have boots, so I'm okay with coming in on rocks. He can bring in the Rotom as I go into Eldegoss. So now what I can do is go for the Aromatherapy and remove the status. And I'm able to remove it, which is great. But he does remove the rocks, which is really bad for me. So I have to bring in the Jolteon as he's gonna go for the Will-O-Wisp and miss. So Will-O-Wisp was a really good. So I gotta like stop that. God, it's just, hold up. Okay, yo, why is it not? I'm trying to talk about the play, but okay, let me go back. I don't know what that was. Okay, the Jolteon burn miss does suck for him because if he did land that, then, well, I mean, it's not too big of a deal, but the miss does suck for him because now, because, I mean, again, I have Aromatherapy, so it's not the worst thing in the world. And if he's running Will-O-Wisp, then he has to have Volt Switch, and he also has to have, like default. He has to have like Recovery if he wants to keep the Rotom healthy. I guess the only way of recovery would be Healing Wish from Hatchrim if he does have it, and Pain Split. That's it. He has no other way of recovery. So Thunderbolt could wear this down pretty nicely, and I do think I go for it, or I go for a Toxic. I probably went for a Toxic as he went into the Stunfisk. Yeah, he did go for that. I go into Paloswine, who could take any hit. He goes for the Yawn again. He's making all the right plays. Again, catching my Yawn, or catching my every switching, because he has to make that play. He has to catch every Yawn I go for, or every switching I go for, because I can't switch into this thing comfortably without getting put to sleep. So what I can do here is go for rocks, but I actually choose to go back into Avalugg as he brings in the Hatchrim. So I have to keep this thing healthy. I'm not going to let this thing get hit with the Mystical Fire, so you just go for it. So it does a little bit, but again, my Eldegoss is very defensive, so I can take the hit. He goes for the Abomasnow now as I bring in my Heatmore. So I do catch the Abomasnow, which is perfect. He's forced to switch into the Sil Valley and catch the Fire Blast, which it can drop to a Fire Blast at this range. So I do go for it, but he actually goes into the Rotom instead. The Rotom does take it decently well, but I'm not going to stay in here and go for it again. I'm not. Like, I don't feel comfortable in that. I go into Paloswine as he goes for the Volt Switch. So I stopped the Volt Switch, which is great. Like I said, he can't do much to me. So with that happening, he's forced to either go for Will-O-Wisp, or he's forced to go for or he's forced to switch out. So what I do here is, I believe I either went for the Crash or I went for the Rocks. I might have went for the Crash. I do go for the Crash. I went Crash because in case he wanted to go into this, or in case he wanted to again stay in with this and try and risk the the Will-O-Wisp, he definitely could have went for it. But yeah, landing that Crash is going to be great because now the hat's going to fall over. But he is going to reveal to be faster, and he is going to get the Healing Wish off. So that's really, really bad because now Rotom's is going to be back to full, and also Silvally can go back to full as well. So he does choose to bring the Silvally back to full, which is going to be really, really annoying because, well, still not that annoying because I do have my Avalugg, which can take the hit, and also I still have my Quillfish, which is, you know, my only, which can wear down this as well. But with the Hatchrim being gone, that's actually very good because now I can get up spikes without having to fear a Magic Bounce. So what I'm going to do here is, I think I went back into Quillfish. Pretty sure I went Quillfish. Oh no, I went for Rocks. I do believe that might have been a prediction. But I think he was free to click the move. I guess maybe he knew that I would bring in the Quillfish, which is why he wanted to just try to catch me on the switch and go for the Abomasnow. But I think this play right here was kind of an aggro play. I had to go off that. So getting up the Rocks is going to be very nice because now it's going to wear down the Ninjask and also wear down everything else as well. Of course, barring the Rotom fan, which is Boots. Goes for the Blizzard, does a lot to me. Does a 35 roll. So he got a really nice roll there because now he could potentially outspeed me and kill me with the Blizzard, but he's not going to risk that. So he's going to go into the Silvally as I go for the Blast. I had to go for the Blast there. Does a lot. No burn though, but he is going to get worn down by the Hail. But now my Heat More is pretty much useless. Is useless at this point because I can't really, you know, like cook the Abomasnow. So I have to kind of let it drop. So I bring in the Avalugg as he can U-turn again and go back into the Rotom. So he's going to try and defog again. Because he has to defog. He has no other play but defog. So on defog, I go for the Avalanche and I'm able to kill off the Rotom. So that is great. That is just fantastic. He had to defog there because he needs the Abomasnow healthy. He can't let that get worn down by Rocks. And same with the Ninjask, since Ninjask doesn't run Boots. They can run Acro and pretty much be fine. So that's why he has so much way of hazard removal because he needs to keep this thing healthy. But with that being gone, that's perfect. You bring the Abomasnow now, and I'm kind of forced to go on a Quillfish and let it take the damage. So he has to go for the Blizzard. It does a lot to my Quillfish, and I'm not faster than the Abomasnow, unfortunately. So I kind of have to just let it drop. But he chooses to just not let this go, or he chooses to not go for the Blizzard. So I'm assuming that he really wants to keep his Blizzards, like, he wants to make sure he doesn't, like, waste all his Blizzards. But getting up the T-Spike is going to be really good because now the Silvally is going to be poisoned, which is what I wanted. And I can also go for a Spike here as well. And I do think I go for that. No, I switch out. Okay. So I switch out and go for the Heat More. Now, honestly, I think spiking there would have been better. But I guess maybe I wanted to catch the Stunfisk again on Rocks. So I wanted to be aggressive and go for a Fire Blast. Granted, Stunfisk runs a lot of Spadef right now. And he could just stall me out too. So I go for the Giga Drain. As now I can go for the Fire Blast. I went Giga in case he wanted to switch out on the fire move and go into Silvally, but he would never do that because he can't afford this thing to get poisoned. Or I mean, he doesn't want that to get poisoned yet. But what I can do here is go for the Fire Blast now. It does a really good chunk to the Stunfisk, but not enough, and he can kill me off with the Earthquake. So that kind of sucks a little bit, but honestly, Heatmore did a lot there. Like, it really did a ton, because with it being able to pressure the Abomasnow, it's always going to force him out, and I'm always going to get damage off with Fire Blast or Giga Drain. So honestly, I'm not too upset about how well I played at this game. I think I played it very well. Now what I can do is I could force this out with Pilot Swine and go for an Earthquake, as I could be faster than this. He goes for the Protect as I go for Rocks now. So now I get the Rocks up, which is perfect. With the Rocks being up, the Ninjask is going to get worn down, and I can Earthquake things freely. So what he can do is he can predict the Earthquake and go into the Abomasnow on my Earthquake, or I could go for a Superpower and kill him off, which I do go for the Superpower. So Superpower was kind of like a mid ground in case he wanted to stay in with the Stunfisk and let it drop, or in case he wanted to go Silvally, which would also drop to Superpower, as my Pilot Swine is very, very physically offensive. So Superpower would kill that. It would definitely kill the Silvally at the range it's at after Rocks and Poison, and Stunfisk will also drop at that range as well. So overall, I think I made the right play, and that is going to drop the Abomasnow being the biggest threat to my team. And now at this point, Jolteon plus Avalugg are looking very solid, as now I can really start thunderbolting through his team and really start to wear him down a lot faster. So he gets poisoned, which is what I wanted, and he also gets chipped by rocks. I bring the Quillfish to sack it at this point. No Intimidate drop, unfortunately, but now I can bring the Jolteon and Thunderbolt him. So I can do that right now as he chooses to sack this. Actually, never mind. I think I go for a sub here in case he wanted to do something else. But yeah, I do sub here. And now I can face this out, and I can also, and this Silvally is going to drop to the Hail plus whatever as I go for the Roar. So I do Roar it, and now the Silvally is dead from Hail, Toxic, and pretty much, yeah. So that's going to be a dead Silvally. And now the Stunfisk has to come back in as he can go for an Earthquake, and I'm never going to let him Earthquake me. So he's going to go for the Quake now. And now what I could do is I could Giga Drain this down, but I choose to spin here instead. Again, I spin because I want to keep my Piloswine healthy, because Piloswine can still Quake through him and keep that low. That's really what I wanted to do. So he goes for the Yawn there, and now I could just go for some Yawn spams, pretty much because he has to make that play. He can't make any other play at this point, because he needs a Mon put to sleep, so that way he can keep rocks up for free, or so we can keep the rocks up and try to wear me down with a Ninjask. That's what he wants to do. But I really just try to like pivot around, and also he could, you know, get his health back as well. So now he gets the rocks up, and now I bring my Piloswine. Now what I can do is go for an Earthquake, as he does choose to protect. But I go for the Crash instead. I went Crash in case he wanted to be like kind of crazy and go to Ninjask. But again, I just make the better play, just the Earthquake here. So I do Earthquake now, and that's gonna keep the Stunfisk low, but it is gonna live because Stunfisk is just annoying, man. That Mon can live so many hits like crazily. Just crazy. He goes for the Yawn again. So he's going to keep doing this. I do think I go for the Giga Drain, but I can't do it because he's always going to protect no matter what. But he does go for the Yawn again. So now I think I go for the, I switch again. He goes for the Yawn again. So he's going to keep doing this. Again, he really wants a Mon put to sleep, but I choose to let the Eldegoss go to sleep now, as he can go for the Yawn again. And now I can bring in my Piloswine pretty easily, and he can't go for a Yawn again. So I can bring, actually now I go Avalugg, because Avalugg pretty much can take any hit from this, and I could also take a hit from the Ninjask as well. I can recover here too, as he is going to go for rocks, but at this point I pretty much just win the game with Avalugg. So that is going to be the game, as I can body press an Avalanche to the Ninjask. So overall, this was a very fun game, man. This was a very, very fun game. It was a very like tough game to play too, because like I said, I'm sorry, that Abomasnow really was a threat. It was a very, very big threat, and I really had only one counterplay to it with Heatmore, but Heatmore really pressured his whole team. Like again, Fire Blast would pressure the Ninjask. Granted, you know, Acrobatic would do a lot to me, but Fire Blast could still like kind of pressure him still, or could still pressure him regardless. But yeah, I letting my leaving my Avalugg healthy was pretty much like the one play I had to make. And Jolteon really didn't get to do much though. I probably could have sacked it and I still would have gotten somewhere, but at the same time I just couldn't risk that, because again, like I said, most variants of Ninjask don't run a lot of speed, so my Jolteon could potentially outspeed it and Thunderbolt it down, and I could also live a U-turn or a Acro from that thing. So again, keeping my Jolt healthy was the main goal here. So disregard what I said about sacking Jolteon. I had to keep them on. But that is going to be game 2. So a commanding game 2 for me. Now this is going to be the last one to determine who moves on to the NU to the rest of the NU League. So this is the team that I brought against Mysterious M for the NU Open. I had to bring this team because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really have too many good teams to bring, especially with, you know, adapting to the new metagame, and with the metagame even changing even more with newer mons dropping too, because we have a lot of drops that came in from the latest tier shift, so I got to get used to that as well. And I haven't played NU in like 2 weeks, so So this is actually my first NU game in 2 weeks that I've actually gotten to play. But I gotta get used to like the whole to the new stuff that's gonna be coming. So I'll be getting back into it. But like I said, this is gonna be the last game. So let's see what happens here. So he leads with Wishy-Washy as I lead with my Pharisee. So hold up, I meant to switch the sides. Okay, so he leads with Wishy-Washy as I lead with my Pharisee. So Pharisee is actually pretty good because I want rocks up, or hazards in general, because spikes are going to go a long way for me. Spikes, rocks are all going to go a long way for me. So he goes for the Yui. Yui did a lot, actually. That is a lot of damage. Judging by that damage, I'm pretty sure that was choice banded. I'm pretty sure that was choice banded Wishiwashi, because damage like that on Pharisee without like any kind of boost, yeah, like Pharisee would take like 16% at least. 24, that's banded, definitely banded. So then comes the sock as I go for rocks. I go for the knock. I went knock in case he wanted to go into this, or in case he wanted to like go into something else. But literally sock made the most sense for him. So knocking was the right play, because now that's going to allow me to outspeed my Kadabra in case he was choice scarf, which he was. So I get rid of that. Now you can go for a knockoff and get rid of my item. I can't let anything else get knocked off, so I go for the rocks. Now, honestly, rocks wasn't that good for me. I'm not even kidding. I don't think rocks was that good for me. I think I should have went for a spike first, because spike is going to do a little bit more to Decidueye than rocks would. Granted, they're like the same like kind of rate, but still, spikes would have been better for me. So I should have got those spikes up. But I ain't going to road him here as he goes for the knockoff. So he does make the knockoff play. Because again, he had to make that kind of play, because he had to catch me going into something else. Because I was never going to stand and go for and let him CC me, because I had to keep that healthy so I can still take on the Wishiwashi and still get up spikes on it too. So he's going to catch that. He's going to go into the Slow Valley now as I go for a burn. So I should go for the Wisp, or the Air Slash. I went Air Slash in case he wanted to stay with the sock, but again, with his choice card being gone, he can't outspeed me anyway. So in hindsight, I think burning this, or even going for a Volt. Actually, I don't think I have Wisp on this. I think it's just Air Slash, Volt Switch, Pain Split, and Defog. So I should have just went for the Volt Switch instead. But didn't make that play, and because of that, well, no, I go for the Wisp now, so I do go for the Wisp. He goes for a Toxic. That Toxic is going to suck a lot, because with that Toxic being up, I can't really, you know, like, keep roading him around for enough, or for long. And also, he could be rocks on this Anaconda, which he pretty much is. So my roam's going to get worn down by Toxic plus rock damage. So that is really going to be bad. But I can still Volt Switch on this and keep this low. But that Sylvelia is definitely like defensive as hell. Goes for the parting shot on my Golden switching, and he's gonna outspeed me too. So in comes the Decidueye. So Decidueye is definitely specs, like without a doubt in my mind. That is specs Decidueye. So we can Shadow Ball here for free. I go into my Skunk Tank as he does go for the Shadow Ball, and my Skunk Tank can easily take the hit. And now he brings in the Sock as I go for the Taunt. Now I went Taunt. The taunt play is probably very weird from you guys. You're probably just like, why would you taunt there? Dark Pulse was actually pretty good, or even Sledge Bomb. For some reason in my mind, I was thinking that he had that he was running a Defog Skunk Tank, or even like a Defog Valley. So I was thinking that maybe he wanted to keep rocks off his side of the field. But in my mind, I thought he would do that, but he never did that. He didn't actually need to. Like, his whole team wasn't really that weak to rocks in general. So I should have just been more aggressive and just went for the jab, because jab was pretty free outside of the Slow Valley. Like, outside of that, everything else, like, it's free. CC's gonna do a lot to me. I could Pain Split and get some recovery up, so I do choose to do that because I know he's gonna switch on and go into Sandaconda. So I go for the Pain Split here, get some recovery. Does a good chunk to it, so now I can Air Slash this down and keep it low. So I do that. I don't get a flinch, and he goes for the rest. So that sucks a lot, because now this thing is healthy, and it could just, you know, like, get some recovery off. I think I go for it again as he goes into the Slow Valley. So I Volt Switch instead. So I Volt Switch in case he wanted to switch back into the Sandaconda, because he was never going to let me wear that down even more. So now I get the Volt Switch off. I bring the Golurk, and Golurk could outspeed this. I was hoping it could, but it doesn't, because this thing is actually faster than me. So it was probably like 240 speed to outspeed base 60s, like what's it called, Abomasnow. So because of that, because of his Slow Valley being able to outspeed me, I can't really get much off besides go for an Earthquake, a Banded Earthquake on this. So I do get the Banded Quake off, but it does nothing because he's going to wake up too, and also this is a defensive Sandaconda. So he goes for the rocks now, and I have to go for the triple axle and hope I kill this thing. I can't kill this thing if I get 3 hits, but the game said you're only going to get 1. So now he glares me, and now he goes for a rest here, and he can just, you know, just keep doing this. So I had to really try to break down the Sandaconda. I go for 1, so I get 1 off, I get 2, and I get a 3rd one, I think. Yeah, I get a 3rd one, but now I'm dead after rocks plus Life Orb. So I have to go Golurk instead and hope he doesn't wake up. He doesn't wake up there, but he does wake up now, and now I can go for an Earthquake. and I can kill off the Sandaconda. So at least I get the Sandaconda out the way. But that one turn triple Axew is gonna cost me because I can't get rid of the Sandaconda, and I only have one move in my Hitmontop to go for. So at this point, I can't go for anything else. I have to go into Ferroseed as he goes for the flip turn. So flip turn does a lot. 23%. Good chunk. Brings in the sock as he can go for CC. He can go for knockoff. He goes for the CC. And now I can bring in my Rotom, as again, like I said, Rotom can outspeed the rest of his team now. I bring in the Kadabra. Now Kadabra honestly didn't make sense, but at the same time, again, I can't bring in the Rotom because Rotom's gonna get worn down by Toxic too. So, but at this point, his whole team is just getting worn down very quickly. With again the rocks being up as well, and like again, I can't really do much with the Rotom. But Rotom would have been a good play, but I had to deal with Toxic plus like everything else, so I couldn't bring it in like I wanted to, and that is gonna scare him out. So I go for the Shadow Ball as he switches into the Skunk Tank. And I have to switch back and go into my own Skunk Tank as he does go for the Dark Pulse. So I get to weaken that a little bit. He brings in the Sock as I go for Taunt again. Now, again, the taunt play is so bad. Like, I honestly should have just went for the jab, because jab would have killed that maybe. But I had to sack the Rotom for no reason. So yeah, again, jab would have been better. Jab was always the better play. But again, I didn't think about that, and I'm gonna sack my Rotom there. So I bring in the Kadabra now as he brings in the Wishy-Washy. So he's gonna sack the Wishy-Washy at this point as I go for a Psychic or Shadow Ball. Dazzling Gleam also can kill that off, but I do go for the Psychic and kill off the Wishy-Washy there. So there it goes. Now you can bring the Skunk Tank, and Skunk Tank can definitely take a hit. I go for the Gleam as I'm actually Sash, but he goes for the Citrus. So Citrus Skunk Tank is something I've never seen before. That is very odd, very, very odd, but very cool tech. And because of that, you know, he's gonna bring me down to my Sash. But I can't kill back the Skunk Tank at that range, so I have to just, you know, 1v1 it with my own Skunk Tank. I can just jab it down, and he does go for the DP and just wear me down even more. So I'll go for the jab. Been doing 16%, but not enough. I can kill that off with the Dazzling Gleam now, which is cool. But he does get the flinch right there. Not really gonna matter too much, as my Skunk Tank is very speed def. So I go for the jab. I get a 16 roll, and I can kill him off with the next one as he goes for the jab, as he goes for the bomb, and I can kill him off with the jab, and he kills me off with the Aftermath, and we're just gonna 1v1 each other. But now it's Golurk versus Decidueye. And unfortunately, his Decidueye is faster than mine. So that means that he's timid, max speed, and he always outspeeds my Golurk. And this Decidueye is very fat, and Decidueye can definitely take any hit. It could definitely take a Shadow Ball from this range from my Kadabra, because this Mon has some very good bulk. So I go for the Shadow Ball, and it does not kill that. It got very close. It got very close. If I was modest, it might have killed. But I don't know if I was modest, I don't know if I would have been enough to outspeed the Sock. I doubt it though, but I'm gonna check for myself. But still, it was a very close game. It was a very, very close game. But let me see. I think Kadabra. Even though I don't recommend using modest Kadabra, definitely Adamit's better. Kadabra. I can't spell Kadabra. Kadabra. Versus Decidueye. So as you can see, this is the roll. Shadow Ball only does 55 to 65%. 66%, I guess. So, see, as you can see, like, this investment, he probably had defense investment, maybe defense investment. No, I don't think it mattered anyway. But yeah, Shadow Ball was never gonna kill from that range. But if I was modest, though, that probably did kill. 309 speed is actually not that bad. No, it still would have been close anyway, because he was at, like, hold on, let me go back to that game. He was at 70. He was at 76%. Yeah, I was never gonna kill, even if I was modest. So yeah, that's just gonna be the game pretty much. Because like I said, I was never gonna kill being modest or whatever. If I was Life Orb, then maybe. But you know, then I would have lost to the Skunk Tank from there. But yeah, tough game, very tough game, very tough game. But it was a fun game though. It was a very fun game. But again, I can't do much here, and Shadow Ball will kill me off, and that's gonna be that. So I don't know if there's going to be another round for me. I doubt there is, but that's going to be my game for the NU league cycle thing. Again, I would love to play again, but I don't think there's going to be another one. So that is going to be that. I just want to share this game because I thought this game was pretty interesting. Um, just a game that I felt like I had to share because, again, like I said, I haven't played any in a minute, and also it's just very cool to have like opponents like these. Like I feel like every tournament game I've been playing up to now has just been me fighting like even tougher and tougher opponents. Like it's a pretty good feeling, but at the same time it does suck when you lose. But but I did have fun with this one though. This one was a good game. So GG to Sensei Axew. I'll come back for him next game or next time. But yeah, that will be it for this one, guys. So if you guys did enjoy my breakdown of these games, please let me know in the comments below. Let me know what was your favorite moment in this game, or in any of the games in general. I definitely would say it was my game for the was the game 2 game, where I played pretty safe with my Heatmore and also my Pilot Spawn. Like Pilot Spawn really went off. Like it got 3 kills pretty much. Well, almost 3 kills if it got the range on that Stunfisk. But Stunfisk is just a fat mon, very fat mon. But yeah, like Pilot Spawn went off, really went off. Jolton could have done more though, but it's not that bad, honestly. It's not that bad. But yeah, like I said, this was a very tough series of games, but I still had fun. Again, had I landed that triple axle before, like if I got all 3 hits, this definitely could have went in a different direction. But yeah, that is gonna be that though. That is gonna be that. So again, that's gonna be it. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, join my Discord Bushido gang, and subscribe for some more content on the channel. Also, follow me on my Pokeamino, and check out my Smogon profile. All those links will be down in the description. So that's it, guys. Be safe. Peace out. Wash your hands, and I will see you. I just messed it up, but I'll see you guys in the next probably tournament replay game or whatever else I do. So peace out.